Welcome everyone to the Organic Archery YouTube channel. I've been getting messages from you guys asking me to cover how I sharpen a card scraper for bow making. So with us being snowed in here in Nebraska with minus 20-degree temperatures, I thought today was the perfect day to show you a very quick and simple way to sharpen a card scraper for bow making. And in today's video, I'll cover both the straight blade card scraper and the curved blade gooseneck card scraper. Let's get right into it. All you'll need to sharpen a card scraper is a burnishing rod, a file, a piece of 220 sandpaper, and something flat like a piece of glass or a bench top, and then a little oil for the burnishing rod. You can use the shank of a screwdriver or any other hardened steel rod, but I really recommend picking up a proper burnisher. Here you can see the current state of my card scraper. It's mostly making dust and it really needs a fresh edge. To start the process, I'll lay my scraper on a bench and use the file to remove what's left of the old burr. Make sure to keep the file nice and flat to the surface and do all four edges. Next, I lay the sandpaper on a piece of glass, but you can also just use the bench top. And running the scraper back and forth on the sandpaper makes a nice sharp edge. You can see here the edge is sharp and polished and free of tool marks from the file. After the sides, I flip the scraper 90 degrees to the sandpaper and run it back and forth to remove any remains of the last burnishing. You want to make sure to get this really flat and sharp. And this one needs a little bit more, so I'll just keep going until I have a sharp, polished, flat edge. Here's a good look at the prepared edge, and I'll set this one aside for burnishing. The gooseneck card scraper is prepared for burnishing in the exact same way. There's just a lot of curves that need to be taken into account, so rotate it around, file off the remains of the old burr, and repeat the same process. I think a circular motion works a little bit better for the gooseneck. And there's another look at the prepared edge. During this step with the gooseneck, you'll need to roll it back and forth, and when it's on the flat surface, you won't be able to get into some of the tighter curves, so I'll show you how to get into the hard to reach areas. Here's another look at the sharpened edge ready for burnishing. To flatten the hard to reach areas, I just roll up the 220 sandpaper on my burnishing rod and run it back and forth. Make sure to keep the rod nice and flat to the surface so you get a good sharp edge. Notice how the sharpened area goes all the way out to the edge on both sides, and you can't see any remains of the last time it was rolled over with a burnisher. Add a drop of oil to the burnisher so it slides across the scraper easily. You don't have to get too particular about the angle, just know that it is slight. So I hold the rod 90 degrees to the surface and just tilt it a little bit. Think 5 degrees or so. With roughly a 5-degree angle, I'm just running the burnisher back and forth. And I'm using a fair amount of pressure, but not so much that I have to risk slipping off and injuring myself. On the left side of this scraper is an unsharpened edge, and on the right side, the burr has been established. Now it's just rinse and repeat for the other two edges. A nice sharp scraper should peel off long, satisfying ribbons, much different than the dust it was making before. Rolling a burr on a gooseneck is pretty much the same. You're just going around curves. Just continue rolling the gooseneck around and hit all the edges. In just the right lighting, you can see the sharp burr. That'll do. Let me know in the comments section what you'd like me to cover in future Bowyer's Bench videos, and thanks for watching.